I believe at the time when I went to WCW, Vince Russo was actually with WWE and well WWF at the time, and I actually went there, and I was being signed there. But then, in the middle of all the signing and getting stuff prepared and done, Vince Russo jumped ship and went to WCW. So I ended up going to WCW. I felt like since he was the one bringing me into WWF, it's like I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna just turn my back. If he's gonna go, I'll go, and that's what I did, and I ended up with WCW.
Did they sign you right away, or did you have to have a tryout? How did that process work?
All right, that was a bit of a blur because I do remember going to Connecticut and I saw other women there, I guess, trying out. And honestly, at that time, I really never uh, did it, quote, I guess, professionally. um, so I did more of the watching. And then it was WCW that actually, when we went to the power plant, that's when we got our asses kicked. Medusa was our trainer, and she was a great trainer because she didn't care you had tits and ass. She didn't care that you were a girly girl. You were going to work, and that was the right way of learning.
How did you get along with Medusa other than just being trained by her? Did you have any personal relationship with her outside of training?
I will say, Medusa, there's a little story about me and Medusa actually. I had a hard time falling on my back. I don't know why, but everybody was doing it. Medusa, everybody was getting, Tylene, everybody was getting it. I was not getting it. And so what happened was, and we were doing it just like leaning, hanging on to a rope and falling back. And what happened was I couldn't get it. So she kept on me, like literally on me, making me fall back. Even when I wasn't doing it right, and there was a chance of, hurting myself. Because when you don't land right, you're going to hurt yourself, And then I remember she had me doing it from the top rope, and I wasn't doing it right. And she said, "Get back up there, do it, do it." And I remember like people turning their heads, and for some reason I just couldn't. And finally, when I did, I remember I never at that time was angry at Medusa when that happened. When I was falling my back and I was like killing my back, and it hurt. I don't care what people say. People are like, "Oh, wrestling's fake." No, when you're taking a hit, you're falling down. Guess what? Your body's hitting that mat. It hurts, and it hurts like a bitch. So after I actually got it done, I remember she came up to me probably maybe a couple weeks later, and there was no hard feelings, and she said to me, this is when we actually started talking and becoming friends. She said, "I'll tell you," she goes, "you really surprised me." She goes, "You're such a girly girl." And she said, "I thought to myself, she's going to quit. She's going to get up and quit." Because I remember I was in tears falling, uh, just getting back up on the top rope and falling on my back constantly. And I was in tears, but I, I'm like, I'll be damned if anything gets me down in this world and in this life. So that's why I kept doing it. And she told me that she had a lot of respect because she really thought that this little girly girl, this whole 5'1" little girly girl, was going to walk and quit. And she said when I didn't, she was surprised, but she was happy. And I mean, she's a good teacher.
And when they brought you in and gave you the new name, Leia Meow, how did they approach you? Was that Vince Russo sitting you down and telling you about this Varsity Club gimmick, or how did it work?
Yes. It was Vince Russo that I remember they were trying to figure out what they were going to name me. And I guess because of the whole with the Kimona one and Leia with the play on words, I think Leia Meow was something that they were like, yeah, that fits.
And how did you like working with that gang? It was what, Kevin Sullivan, Rick Steiner, and Mike Rotundo at that time.
Uh-huh.
Didn't
It
last.
was it was it was neat because you had it was pretty cool because you had people that have been in the business for a while, so um, they were easy to get along with.
Kevin is pretty popular on this channel. Any specific memories of Kevin Sullivan?
Kevin Sullivan, no, they were. Um, he was always quiet. I mean, he always reminded me of like the mini me of Hulk.
Very interesting. And I guess that kind of that kind of fizzled out, and that's when they threw you in there with the Young Dragons. Did they ever give you a reason, or you just show up to work one day and it's like you're doing this now?
Yeah, basically. Basically, yeah. I was always surprised with uh, when I went to WCW with, and you were like, "Oh my God, it's Turner," you know, or like everybody's got their shit together, everybody knows, you know, what's going on. But every time you were you know, we were filming, it was like, "Hey, you're gonna know right before you get out there." That's what that's what it felt like.
And how did you like working with those guys? Because as you mentioned, we would often see you do some high flying moves when you were with that gang. It seems like you're definitely better suited with them than the Varsity Club.
Yes, yes. That gang, well, considering the fact that they weren't that much taller than me, so I felt really good. But also is that they they were they were young, and they were. I feel like a lot of the younger ones or the ones back then that were starting off, even if they had great aerial stunts. I was always amazed with the aerial, like Rey Mysterio with his aerial stunts and everything. It didn't back then. I felt like those guys weren't getting pushed enough. It was always somebody that had three moves, and it was like, ah, yeah, he's the best. And it's like, what about the people that are like doing all these crazy aerial moves and all this like crazy cool stunts? Like, what about them? That you know, that's me. I felt like that they never really got a lot of them really never got the push that they should because you know lifting your leg or doing the chokehold or whatever versus someone doing like triple axle in the air flips aerobic you know acrobats and kicking ass and it's like nah they like busted their ass to learn these stunts and to learn how to do these things. You got to give them more credit.
And you had a little gimmick where they had the Miss WCW contest that Pamela Paulshock won.
Yeah.
You attacked her, then Medusa attacked you, and then you
Uh,
did something. Could you share with us your memories of that?
my memories of that was
You aged a lot better than
I
her, by the way. I've seen some pictures of her recently. She's not
with
bad.
who?
You win the Miss WCW 2020 by far.
Well, thank you. With um when we were filming that, what sticks out in my mind, it wasn't even like what we were doing like on in the ring. It was funny because it was the judges, like Howard Stern's buddies there, they were freaking hysterical. Like, I think it was like the angry, what, drunk or whatever, midget drunk or guy or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, he
drunken
was.
dwarf or something. And then they had you on Mike Awesome's lava lamp segment too. They really screwed him up in WCW, but how was it like working with him?
That, it was funny because that Lava Lamp Lounge, that episode with me and Medusa, the funny thing is, we weren't supposed to break the lava lamp. We accident all the rolling around and fighting. We actually knocked it over, and we were rolling around in glass.
I hope you didn't get hurt too badly.
No, not at all. But it was funny because it was like, oh, we did that. Oh, there's glass all over. Ah, we're good.
Apparently that dwarf is dead. Hank, the angry drunken dwarf. Someone says,
It's funny because somewhere I have a picture where we were in the back, and I had I think one of the other guys standing there, like I was talking to him, and the angry little drunken dwarf was like trying to pull up my skirt from the back, and I was like, like all shocked. I gotta find these pictures. I have a bunch of like very candid pictures. If I take pictures, I like candid pictures. Like something, it's got to be funny. It just can't be someone just standing there smiling. It's got to have some kind of story to tell.
there's a bunch of people on here asking if you had any interactions with Sunny, either in ECW or WCW.
I remember I met her. Gosh, my memory is not too good. I remember I met her, I believe, a couple times. I didn't really have much interaction with her. You know what I mean? I couldn't even say like if she's a nice person, kind, or anything. I had very little interaction with her. I probably met her and said hi, and that was probably about it.
And you had a little feud with Tigress too there in WCW. Any thoughts on that?
It was it was fun. Feuds are always fun, but she's actually a very, very nice, sweet girl, though.
And as far as your WCW release, were you released before it was sold to WWE, or were you part of that whole thing where you were there after it dissolved?
After it dissolved.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.